Hey guys, today we're going to be reading Chaucer's Canterbury Tales out of a children's book. We're going to be looking at The Wife of Bath's Tale, but we're going to be going into the PDF from Harvard that we were using earlier. So make sure you have that handy. So go ahead and pull that link up. I'm going to tell you some line numbers to reference, and we will come back to those. Okay, so today we're going to read The Wife of Bath's Tale. Okay, remember the wife of Bath from the prologue. She was the one who'd been married 5 times and she was on her pilgrimage. So we're going to talk about that a little bit at the end. But anyway, the wife of Bath's Tale. In the days of King Arthur, when all the land was filled with fairies and magic, a bold bachelor knight of Arthur's court went hawking. What is hawking? Do y'all know what that means? It's like hunting with a falcon or a hawk. Okay, so he's got his bird here. I can't do this. This is hard. Okay, so he's got his bird here. All right. As he returned to court, he came upon a fair maiden whom he treated with great cruelty. King Arthur would not tolerate such behavior. Okay, so let's go to the text and let's see what Chaucer was actually saying here. So we got to go back up, to line 882. So we're going to go to line 882. If I can get there. Sorry guys, I should have rehearsed, but it's Friday. It's 4 o'clock. I've been here all day. It's very long. All right, and so it happened that this King Arthur had in his house a lusty bachelor that on one day came riding from hawking. And it happened that, alone as he was born, he saw a maiden walking before him, of which maiden straightway, despite all she could, by utter force, he took away her maidenhead, for which wrong was such a clamor, and such demand for justice unto King Arthur, that this knight was condemned to be dead. Okay, a couple of things. This is not the knight from the general prologue. Okay, this is not our good knight. This is a bad knight. And what does this mean? That he took the maiden, he took away her maidenhead. Does anybody know? Okay, so when you get married, you have a maid of honor or a matron of honor or a bridesmaid or a bridesmatron. What is the difference between the maid and the matron? A maid would be single and a matron would be married. So that would mean that a maid would be a virgin and a matron would not be a virgin. So if he took away her maidenhead, he raped her. Okay, so he raped her. Okay, moving on. So the children's book can't say that. So we're going to go back to the children's book now. At court, the knight sentenced the knight to death. The king, sentenced the knight to death. The queen pitied the young knight, so she persuaded the king to allow her to choose his punishment. The queen decided to send the knight on a quest. If he could discover what it is that women most desire, his life would be spared. How he sighed at this task. He had 1 year and 1 day to search for the answer. If he failed, he would be beheaded. The young knight had no option but to take his leave of the queen and set off on his quest, however impossible it seemed. So who knows what a woman wants? What do women want? Let's see what they thought in Chaucer's day, and we'll see if it's the same today. Okay, we have richness or riches, honor, I think that's jolliness. Sorry, I can't read upside down and backwards. Lust, flattery, attendance. Okay, the knight stopped at every place where he thought someone might know what it is a women most desire, but no two people ever agreed on the answer. As the months went by, his heart grew heavier and heavier. Finally, the day dawned when the knight had to return to the queen, even though he could not give her an answer. As he rode along the homeward track, he glimpsed a group of delightful damsels dancing in a glade. Eagerly he spurred his horse on, for surely one of them would know what women most desire. Okay, let me turn the page. As he drew close to the glade, the dancers vanished, and an ugly hag was left sitting alone on the grass. In desperation, the knight told her of his plight. So now let's go back to the text and let's look at line 988. The day was come that homeward he must turn, and in his way he happened to ride in all this care near a forest side, where he saw upon a dance go ladies 24 and yet more, toward the toward the which dance he drew very eagerly, in hope that he should learn some wisdom. But certainly before he fully came there, vanished was this dance, he knew not where. He saw no creature that bore life, save on the green he saw sitting a woman. There can no man imagine an uglier creature. At the night's coming, this old wife did rise, and said, Sir knight, there lies no road out of here. Tell me what you seek by your faith. So, what's his choice here? He sees this old woman. This is the ugliest woman who has ever been alive. But if he doesn't know an answer, what's going to happen to him? Okay, let's go back to the book. Oh, there's lots of clicking here, guys. Sorry. The hag smiled hideously and told the knight that she would give him the answer if he promised to do the first thing she asked of him. The knight could not believe his luck, and although her ugliness repelled him, he lifted the old hag onto his horse, and they set off for court. All the while she whispered her secret knowledge into his ear. So by whispering the secret knowledge, we're building suspense. What is it that women most want? On the appointed day, the knight came before the queen and confidently told her that what women want most is to have authority over their men. In all the court, there was not one lady who could contradict the knight. They were all delighted and declared that he deserved his life. Okay, we think he's getting an easy escape. Let's see. Okay, this is like using a overhead projector. Yet the knight's relief was short-lived, for suddenly the old hag reminded him of his promise and demanded to be his wife. So let's go back to the text. "10:58. This knight answered, Alas, and woe is me! I knew right well that such was my promise. For God's love, choose a new request. Take all my goods and let my body go. Well, what did she ask? Sorry, I skipped that part. So she says in line 10:55, said she, that thou take me as thy wife, for well thou know that I have saved thy life. So how does he feel about it? Sorry, I spoiled it. He does not want to do this, but remember, he's going to die if he doesn't do this. The knight failed to persuade the hag to take his wealth instead, so the two were married the next morning without ceremony or celebration. The knight hated his wife. She was ugly, poor, and of lowly birth. She told him that love was nothing without contentment and asked him to choose between having her young, beautiful, and flirtatious, or old, ugly, and forever faithful. So let's go back to the text. All right, line 12:19. Choose now, she said, one of these two things, to have me ugly and old until I die, and be to you a true humble wife, and never displease you in all my life. Or else you will have me young and fair, and take your chances of the crowd that shall be at your house because of me, or in some other place, as it will may be. Now choose yourself whichever you please. Okay, so he can have her old, ugly, and completely faithful. She will do everything that he asks. Or she can be young and beautiful and flirtatious, which means that other people want to come to their house because of her. So that means she's going to cheat on her husband. So what do you think that he's going to choose? Is he going to choose old, ugly, and faithful, or young, pretty, and very flirtatious, as Chaucer says? Okay. Let's go back to the book and let's see what the ending is. The knight, remembering the answer to the queen's riddle, told her to choose. At this, the hag kissed her husband, and as she did so, she became both beautiful and faithful. his heart filled with love for her, and so it remained throughout their long and happy marriage. The sanitized children's version of The Wife of Bath's Tale. Now let's discuss.